And the first is Michael Plaster from ABB. Michael's the Executive Vice President and Lead Business Manager for Electrification for ABB in the US. Michael, can you hear me? Okay, I'll hand the floor to you.
Very good. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak at this year's Circular City Week. I would say the priorities align perfectly with how ABB is managing our business and driving to a more sustainable future. A little bit about ABB. ABB is a leading global technology company that energizes transformation of society and industry to achieve a more productive and sustainable future. Our portfolio includes electrification, which is everything from a tie wrap to a medium voltage substation, robotics, automation, and motion, things like motors and drives. We have a long history stretching back more than 130 years, 110,000 employees in over 100 countries. So you can certainly see how ABB can have an impact on the world just by our global footprint. How do we see sustainability? We see it as encompassing ethical work practices and corporate governance, in addition to environmental aspects. We've been at this for a long time. Back in the 1990s, we established environmental affairs organizations and an environmental advisory board. We signed on to the International Chamber of Commerce Business Charter for Sustainable Development. We've been involved with standards when it comes to the electrical industry. In the 90s, again, we were part of the group that created environmental management systems, environmental product declarations, life cycle assessments, and environmental auditing organizations. And I'm pleased to say that our 2020 sustainability goals that were set back in 2014 have been met or exceeded in almost all of our areas. A few examples: greenhouse gas emissions. Our target was 40% reduction. We actually achieved 58. When we think of resources, we look to reduce water use in water-stressed areas by 25%. We were able to achieve 39%. And then from a materials aspect, we were looking at the reduction of emission of volatile organic compounds at 25%. And again, we achieved 29%. So the company is very proud of these accomplishments. However, as you can expect, it's time for new goals. And we've set our 2030 environmental goals to include carbon neutral across all our operations, zero waste to landfills, and at least 80% of our products and solutions covered by our circularity approach. We also extend our sustainability culture to our supply base. So we have a supplier code of conduct. We also have a supplier sustainability development program that screens and prioritizes sustainability risk posed by suppliers. It evaluates their adherence and, quite frankly, works with those that have gaps to make them better. You can see how ABB operates inside of the walls to impact sustainability and the circular economy. But our greatest impact is by supporting our customers. And I can tell you our customers are changing. They're no longer making their purchasing decisions solely on price of product. They're factoring in sustainability metrics. One example I've personally been involved in is a large HVAC equipment manufacturer, long-term customer of ABB. They always look for the lowest price of the component. In the last few years, they have shifted where now their heaviest weighting on selection of a supplier like ABB is the efficiency of the component. So it's great to see our customers changing, and we're helping them along the way. We help our customers to become more efficient. And over the course of 2020, ABB's installed base of high efficiency motors and drives control the speed of motors, and motors are one of the biggest consumers of electricity. We enabled 198 terawatts of electricity savings. And I know you're wondering, what's a terawatt? Well, that's more than 3 times the total annual consumption of Switzerland. 198 terawatts is 3 years of consumption for a country like Switzerland. We have instruments on satellites to measure CO2 levels around the world. And one of the fastest growing segments is the electrification of transportation. And it's not just cars, but it's rail, buses, and shipping. ABB is one of the world leaders in EV chargers. Fast charging technology is really our specialty. We have over 400,000 chargers installed in 85 countries around the world. And I think if you look at why a person would buy an electric vehicle, there's really 3 factors in our mind. One is, of course, the price of the vehicle. The second is the range. Can I get from A to B? And that's been improving quite a bit through the years. And I think that the convenience factor for those that have internal combustion engine vehicles is big. I can find a service station on any corner. And ABB's impact is all about the charging infrastructure. 1, that you can find a charger around the world. And 2, that charge doesn't take hours, but can take minutes. In the shipping area, we have Azipod hybrid diesel electric ship propulsion that reduces emissions and improves fuel economy by over 20%. They're used in things like ferries, cruise ships, and even icebreakers. All of this electrification of transportation requires the grid to change. Our distribution grid is changing to support this, and we support our utility customers with products and solutions for a safe, reliable grid. When it comes to materials, we develop vegetable-based insulating oils for transformers that are non-toxic and perform better than the traditional mineral oil. And when it comes to renewable energy, we're a big player there, providing components to wind turbine manufacturers and solar developers, and also making sure that they can effectively connect to the grid. One last example would be smart buildings. This is where we would provide automation, energy monitoring, and the control needed for our customers to achieve LEED certification. So you can see ABB has been a leader in sustainability for decades, using technology to achieve efficient power generation, transmission, and distribution, manufacturing processes that generate less waste. And more recently, we've taken on some high-profile activities to leverage our position and encourage industry and society to do more. Couple of examples. We sponsored the Solar Impulse aircraft. This is the world's first round-the-world flight powered only by the sun. You can imagine the technology required to accomplish that. And we're also the primary sponsor in the Formula E race series, which is now entering the 4th season and gaining popularity. The race is actually held in New York City here in the US, one of the races. We hope it'll be back in the US here and later this year, or certainly in 2022. It's an all-electric race series. It really pushes technology forward. And an example I would give is year 1, each race team had to use 2 cars because of limitations on battery efficiency and charging technology. Today, it's 1 car for the same distance race. Again, that technology can get converted into our own vehicles. So as you can see, at ABB, we take a holistic view of sustainability, which incorporates for us environmental, social, and corporate governance. We've demonstrated sustainable products and business practices are good for our customers and good for their bottom. And I would just say this: we will continue to push ourselves, our suppliers, and our customers to do more to bring about the circular economy. Really appreciate the time today that you've allowed ABB, and wish you a great rest of the conference and a safe and successful 2021.
Thank you, Michael. I think the most interesting part of, well, not the, but one of the most interesting part for me is the shift over from electric in motor racing. And I actually saw a piece in the papers last week about serious racing team, Mario Andretti's racing team, are now investing heavily again in the electric Grand Prix. So that's an exciting shift for a well-known, well-respected auto racing firm to be doing something like that.
Absolutely. And I would just say that, well, I love racing. So I've loved all types of racing. But when you think of electric vehicle, It's instant torque. It's got, very high level performance. But the best part about it is it's the cutting edge of technology that then over the years gets converted into our own vehicles when we shift to electric vehicles.
That's right. Especially the fins on the back, right?
I hope so.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.